Welcome in the Bobby Carpenter Show. My guy Anthony Schlegel ready to rock right there. And Schlegel, it's finally here. We are into a game week for Ohio State, and it's pretty exciting. Buckeyes had a little mock game on Saturday. We'll get into that, talk a little bit of the structure of what that was, why it was important, why that happened, what they were trying to get done. I think, kind of a normal Sunday and then get back into it on Monday and then gain an extra day and then start rolling through this. So very, very exciting for them. And, now that we're inside this week, Schlegs, like you can feel the game excitement. They'll be starting class, I believe, on Tuesday. So that's another, all these variables are really important because it's stuff that they've got to do. It's stuff that just comes up and, as part of it. So just talking about this and making sure that we understand it all is pretty good. But high school football went off this weekend, which was also awesome, Schlegs. How was everything coming out of the weekend for you, sir?
Oh, man, it's chaos. It's great. We had week 0. You got high school football going down. You have farm stuff. You have Lucky's Bar and Grill in Hillard, Ohio, doing things for the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer after a Saturday morning football practice. And over there with you, Bob, and DeVere and Justin Zwick and Craig and Pappas and the GOAT herself. And I mean, just so many people like you can elaborate on it. And we were going through and just talking. Was Vince there?
Yeah, Vince sat beside me.
Yeah, Vince was right there. He said beside. We had a Vince sandwich, Bob. He was right next to me too. So, but we're just going through. Katie Smith going through, just talking about stuff, talking about the excitement of, week 1, Ohio State, Texas in the shoe, high noon, guns drawn. They had 20 paces, and here we go, turn around and fire. It's gonna be fun, man. Got to rest. Don't understand about the golf deal. Scotty Scheffler could have the year that he has, and he ended up finishing 4th. But hey, Tommy Fleetwood got the dub. Perseverance, a lot of lessons learned from him being able to win the FedEx Cup. But hey, man, we got football. It's here, everybody. So buckle up.
It is here. And with it, you have school. At Friday night, high school football got kicked off. And so football is fully here in Ohio. Mock game. We'll start with this. They had the mock game. And we'll get into some of the week 0 stuff in the second segment because, my goodness, it was beautiful, some of the things that happened. And I don't know if you got a chance to witness all of it or heard. That Kansas State-Iowa State game was really good. Maybe the most compelling part was what happened after the game that I saw on Sunday morning, which was awesome. So we'll get into that a little bit. Some drama. So it's all about competition. You want
competitive excellence, baby.
Competitive excellence. You want people that care. So there's that, obviously. But the mock game, let's talk a little bit about this. So you did a little mock game at the stadium. You got some new coaches. You have more coaches. I talked to Boyer over there who just joined the staff, going to be up in the box doing some stuff a little bit, both sides, I think, both sides of the ball. So he's back in here. Ohio guy from Heath, went to Muskingum. He was in the NFL for a long time, and happy to have him back. But just talk a little bit, Schleich, about the importance of the mock game and what that represents of just not for even for the players, but coach to coach and then maybe coach to player as well.
Well, they're working out. You have so much information that's coming from the box. Who's the one that's relaying that information to people that have to go out and execute, right? And go back and recite your RCE, right? Recognize, communicate, execute, Bob. And the number one thing is it doesn't matter necessarily what you see up in the box if you can't relay that information. And so, yeah, there's 2 channels, right? It's the box to the coach to the player, and probably 3, the player to player, as to what those adjustments are in game. So it's vital to understand, you got to get your spacing. Who sits next to who? Are we sharing the same spitter or are we having our own? What kind of call sheets? How much stuff do I need? Are all my pens there? Or my highlight? However you do it, right? Color coordinated, I don't know. And who's responsible for looking at what?
Yeah.
When you have multiple sets of eyes, you got to be focused on hey, here's what they're doing in the back end. Here's what we're doing up front. All that stuff is great information, but it's only as useful as if you can communicate it to the coaches that are on the field to relay the information to the players and also to Matty P, who's calling the defense. So that in and of itself are some logistical things. Then they go through and it's like, hey, we got situational football. Boom, we get it. Punt goes out there. Now you're looking at where do we line up to go out to punt? Who is the special coach?
You know who it is? You know who it is, Schlegs, who's in charge of that?
Who?
Your boy, Mr. Nate. I said Schlegs was in charge of that.
This is great. Oh my gosh. And he should be because he's in the room all the time. Amen. Amen. Nate Ebner should be that guy because when it was the strength coach doing that, who's not in the meetings, who doesn't know that we're putting in 35 different, pump blocks to make sure that we can get everybody a rep on there. You got teal, you got white, you got black, you got lavender. Doesn't matter. They're all the same damn thing. It's just a different dudes in there. Ecstatic for the strength staff that Nate Ebner, our guy, is the one that's doing that. But you got to work through that because here's what happens, folks. When you see somebody that runs out there late,
that's bad.
It's not the fact that the guy who was responsible for that wasn't on it. It was the fact that the kid got grabbed by a coach to talk about something, and he's looking at the coach trying to get information about playing, and then they go out there and they lost the moment. It's the coach's responsibility. No, I'll get you when you get off this play. Let's go talk about it. Like, keep the main thing. Wow. What a blessing that it's Nate Ebner and no longer a strength coach, because that's how it should be. But they're going through all of those scenarios. What happens if the headsets go down? That's another one. What are we going to do? Headsets down. Can't talk into you. What do those calls look like? All of those logistical things are worked out in that scenario. That's why it's called a mock game. You're running through it. This guy goes down. Who's up on field goal? This guy goes down. Who's up on punt? The kickoff and kickoff return injuries happen. You can make that because there is normally a gap, a TV timeout, etc. So you can make sure that you have all those guys lined up and you know who the backup is and who to convey that message to right immediately when it happens. Like if a guy goes down, you're already on to who is the next guy. I'm ready to go grab him if they need him. What kind of injury is it? Oh, yeah, you got to go in. Here, now you go. Don't forget about this. You can coach him up. But all those things are worked out right now so that you can go out, and that's not what you're thinking about in the midst of a game. You're thinking about execute.
You're thinking about because you've done it before. Coaches love to practice legs. They want to walk through. They want to meet. They want to make sure that they're repping everything that they're going to do. You don't ever want the first time you do something on a game day. That includes, practicing seeing Carmen, Ohio after the win. Schlegs running up the locker room at halftime, running down and out, running through the warm-ups, going through all that. You've got a number of new players. And if you're thinking about that at halftime, or start of the game, I'm nervous, warm-ups, where am I going, what's going on? Like that's not a good feeling because that's a detraction from you should be thinking about the game. So that's part of the reason they do it. You mentioned what the
I just want you guys to know the detail which they do it. We have 3 warm-up groups that go out. The first one is always like your quarterback, punt returners, like those type of specialists. They go out. That's the first group. Then you have your second group. Then you have your bigs predominantly because they're the last ones to go when those guys run back up and they don't run up the tunnel, but they meet them and then they go to, or they break on the somewhere on the field and they break to their individual position groups to start their warm up. Like they work on that. Guys need to know, hey, when am I going out? What does that call mean? Hey, first group out, second group, 7 minutes. What are all the things that I like to get taken care of before I go out and do my activation and then go out and do my warm up with the team to then come back in? Because there's logistics involved in that. What do I do when I get up there? What is my routine? It's a great opportunity, especially for a younger team, to start to work that out. Hey, and they might not know what they particularly like, so you tell them, this is what you're doing. You're doing this. And then you go out there and do it. Because the more they're thinking about things, the less they're going to be thinking about the game, which is exactly your point, Bob.
100%. So you walk through it all, you go through it. Even the coaches, as you mentioned, who's going to be in charge of personnel, like trying to figure out, especially on the defensive side, what are they coming out in? Who are the guys? How do they operate? And I was talking with someone where they'll walk 6 guys out and then 3 guys come back just to always give it to you. So you got to communicate to the coordinator like, hey, Matty, they're going to be holding guys for a long time. So get your guys ready with what you think you might be. If you have 2 different personnel groups and 2 different calls that would be with that, have those guys there with you because I'm not going to get in early because everybody does this. They do all their stuff so much differently, and there's just a lot to it. Also, the iterations of coaching communication: who's in the box, who's not. With players, hey, come over here, get on the phones. We're in between. What do we do in between series? Every coach likes different stuff. Hey, come over here, sit on the bench. We're going to talk about it. We're talk about what's going on in the game, all this different stuff. Not wander around. Don't be drifting around over there because we're going to be going from an over to an under or do this different stuff. You're going to play a 6 versus a 5 technique, or now we're going to be off in this versus press as a corner. Well, you didn't get it. You know why, Shakes? Because you were wandering around over there like, I don't know if you're looking in the stands, watching the game. Like, that's what Belichick would always be like. You're not here to watch the game. You're here to play in it. You don't need to watch the offense. Now cheer for your guys, but my goodness, like we got to be here to make our own corrections as well.
And that's also where it goes. Who are the get back coaches, right? Because again, you go out there and you have an abundance of personnel. The difference in the NFL, guys, is you got a 53-man roster.
45 less.
I'm getting there. So you got 70, right? So practice squad that goes to 53. Boom, there's 17. And you got 45 that dress. The ones that aren't dressed, especially at home, like those other, like they're way out of the way. When you're on the road, it's only 45 plus those 8, and they're off to the side. They can't even participate. They ain't going to be in the mix. But it's like, hey, when we're around the ball, these are the guys that I need to be around the ball exactly for what you said, Bob, for quick substitutions on and off the field. I can't have an abundance of 30 freaking dudes over here, messing all this up. Like, you got to get guys out there. So, like, go down there, watch it, get out of the way. Can't have any penalties on coaches. Where can they stand? Coaches are habitual. And this is why it's like even critical at practice that the guys are getting the coaches back. You can't be on the field. It's like you're practicing the entire time during camp of spring football. You're on the field. You can't. You got to stay behind the white, bro. And that is the box for the coaches. And behind that white is the box for the players. And it's like, you got to give them some room. You can see, I don't need you watching. I need you down there. You can watch down there, but still be engaged as to what you see to add value to your teammate. But these are all the things that they're going through and talking through right now.
It's a lot of stuff, but it went well.
A lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff, but it went well. You go through Slikes, your special teams call out. This guy went down. This guy's, hey, we have this defensive package out there. We have this offensive package out there. We're going punt. We're going punt return. Oh, by the way, this guy got hurt. We got to have these substitutions so that you don't get Schlegs getting fired because they're one guy short. You look out there and there's 10 dudes. One dude's running on late.
And I can't go out there. I got no pads on. I mean, I would. Like, I'm just be the 11th guy. I got it. You see this coach just running out there to be the 11th guy. Just take it.
It's a lot. And so that's all the things that they were working through while they're practicing back and forth. And it was going pretty good. But they're finally in now where you're doing a lot of scout team and you're going to do good versus good but some scout team. And then obviously working on what Texas does, on offense and defense, and kind of going through the game planning element of it, which it's pretty exciting. Like you get bored, Schlegs, of just running against your offense or defense the whole time. Like, okay, let's do situational stuff. Play against Texas. Let me see what they're doing so I can start to absorb their tendencies from their alignments, from their personnel groupings, from their down and distances, and understand that. So now they're finally into that. And it's fun to see. It feels good. Some number changes, which I'm sure they'll alert people to, and everything else. I didn't realize we had the merry-go-round of numbers when Sonny becomes the block O. I always thought that, like, dude, you're the block O plus your number, and that's kind of it. Well, apparently not. So we'll see some things and stuff sliding around Buckeyes, but numbers are numbers. But everything went pretty well, and it's going to be an exciting time here. I mean, like, what is it, about 6 days, 5 days now, man? We're ready to go. We'll be in the thick of the game. And good news, weather's supposed to be pretty tremendous. This whole week in Columbus, Ohio is going to be pretty darn awesome. So we got that going for us. Going to be a lot of fun. We've got some other things to talk about. There's some questions also thrown in here of some of the other things that were some really good questions that I saw. So we get all your questions answered with Tailgate Talk. Maybe some players to watch, Schlegs, as we're looking forward, looking through this as well. Ramifications of winning and losing. We got all week to break it down, and with our usual cast of characters are going to be joining us. So stay tuned and stay locked in here on the Bobby Carpenter Show. But first,
Could be juicy.
Well, it's like tomorrow. You know what August 26th is?
I think I do, Bob.
It is FanDuel Futures Day. It's a new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on all your football season predictions. So take the flyer on the MVP race. Who do you think is going to win? Is it Burrow? Is it Lamar Jackson? Josh Allen? You tell me who. Maybe take a crown your champion. I mean, who could you think could be? Maybe a long shot like the Rams. Stafford a little healthier, maybe there. Or you can parlay all your division winner dark horses together. Juice the odds. Mark your calendars. This is your day for hunches, hosts, your hot takes, your calls, and all the odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bet now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 and older in present Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. More of the Bobby Carpenter Show coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, Schlegs, you and I got to spend some time together on Saturday out at Lucky's raising some money for the Buckeye Cruise. Awesome job. Awesome little panel we had. Talked to some of the great friends that we had out there from the cruise, some of the great folks that showed up. Did a little panel talking about the season as well. Took questions from the audience. That was fun. No call screeners, Schlegs. Just really get on up there, see what it's all about.
Really getting frothy.
Getting frothy. There's one lovely gal, Schlegs, who was very angry about Ryan Day still being the head coach at Ohio State. It kind of came out of nowhere. I thought it was a joke at first, but it was shots fired, to say the least.
You know, and it goes back to, like, I mean, guys, new year, new season, excited for what's going to happen. Excited. I mean, I am excited to see what the 2025 version of Ohio State football looks like. And you're going to, I mean, it's a 4-quarter game, so I'm interested to see that. But in a game like this and a matchup like this, I want everybody to watch the fundamentals of the game. You know, like there's going to be times where there's an opportunity. Obviously, turnovers are paramount in a game like this. It's going to be a defensive battle because defenses are normally ahead of offenses, especially week one. In this type of matchup, it will be the same. But I'm interested to see the fundamentals of what we're just talking about, the substitutions, right? The special teams, the blocking and tackling of our game, the stances and get-offs, point of attack, like the things that people take for granted. Not me. I'm all about practicing those things every single day. And as we progress, we can eliminate a little bit of that time that we give to them because we've gotten so proficient, but it's something that I never like to take off, because those are the fundamentals of our game. You got to keep working on that. But for a team in this type of matchup, week one, those are the things that I'm looking for from a development standpoint, how good we are at the fundamentals.
I think that's a good point, and because it's those little things that are going to be ultimately determine the outcome. And we'll get into predictions and things later, but
that's way later.
I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. And so when that's the case, like, every possession matters. And what you do, field position, small penalties, all of those things come into play. Now, when we were out at Lucky's, they had Farmageddon was going on across the pond. Iowa State beat Kansas State, ranked matchup, 24-21, physical game. I mean, Iowa State came to play. Kind of a sloppy game, as I tell people. It's another thing where you're playing on not golf course, you're playing on a soccer field. Soccer fields are not as firm as football fields. They don't stamp them. They don't put sand in them. It's a different style of game. You don't need the ground to be as hard or as firm because you don't have 300-pound dudes pushing into each other.
Yes.
Subsequently, because of that, it was raining. It was a little sloppy. Guys were kind of slipping and sliding a little bit all over around there. So had to get some of that worked out and get it better. Avery Johnson, the quarterback for Kansas State, who they kind of let walk they let Will walk because of him. Started last year. I think he was 25 touchdowns, 10 picks, played pretty good. Kind of a dark horse Heisman guy. And they didn't win. There was a fourth down where he was trying to run it in. Schlegel did not look particularly good. I mean, he got smoked and didn't look particularly excited to run with it as well. But after the game, Pat, if I want to pull this up, I read this statement that I saw from Kansas State on Sunday morning, talking about his family, confirming that it was them from the video, apologizing for their actions, sincerely apologize, for the football game in Ireland, bickering escalated into an unnecessary fight, resolved our differences, and apologized to our family, extended family, Kansas State, everybody, etc. Won't happen again. I mean, so it's like it was his dad and brother getting into an altercation outside the stadium. There's the end of it.
It's like somebody's trying to drown somebody in a pool of their own misery.
Well, the best part is it had rained the whole time. So there's like 2 inches of standing water in some of these puddles. And you've got the dad. Look at that. They're not letting go, man. This was the day. I mean, Trace, did you ever fight your dad? Like, was there ever a time?
Competitive excellence in the family, guys. That's not what it looks like. The answer is no. There came a time where my dad knew what he had created, and there was no more part of that. You know what I'm saying? But like my dad and I always like wrestled around, and then there came a point to where it's like, he was trying to wrestle around, and it was like, nope, because I was really good at wrestling and I was very, 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 very strong. But however, they never escalated into something of this nature.
How sweet would it be if that was Julian Sands' older brother and his dad outside like the north end of the stadium, the rotunda, maybe in like the French Fieldhouse parking lot, just going at it, dude. Before that, they said there were punches thrown, like actual shots landed on each other. I mean,
Yeah.
I like the best part is like it's family on family crime. So I want to know, like I was trying to think to my head, which side.
What were they serving at that stadium?
Well, they're serving up a loss to K-State, so obviously their animosity running high. And I don't think Avery Johnson played all that well. Like I said, he didn't really look like he was all that excitable as a runner. He got smacked around a little bit too. It was a close game. It was good. What did he end up throwing for?
Avery Johnson, 273 yards.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Like not
Ran
bad.
for a touchdown.
8 rushes for 21, ran for a touchdown. Like not a bad game. So my question is, who do you think took the side of being more critical? Do you think like the dad was talking trash and the brother was like, hey, man, he's out there playing his butt off. No, he's soft, just like you. This is why he's never going to be better, Or do you think it was the brother who was yelling at the dad like you were always too easy on him? This is it. This is what you get. He can't even close a game. You need to get a first down. He's too soft to run in. The dad's like, you shut your mouth. It's your brother over there. No, you shut your mouth, Dad. Your brother, he's always been soft. Like I think my family they've had some fights that have not gotten to that, at least publicly. But I'm just curious who was on which side. Like who was the one that was defending the brother and who was the one that's more critical? Because that's the only way I could see that getting to this point.
Bro, that's a great question. And I'm gonna go with the A1, the number one thing that you said of like, why isn't he doing this? And then the brother kind of standing up for him. That kind of resonates more to me because the hardest thing, Bob, is when I see parents that have never had success in how they view their own children's career. And it's through this just fake prism of expectations that aren't realistic because they're comparing them to professionals. And that's not even what it is. And, my dad graded me very harshly when I played. And I took it for what it's worth. But when he said I played really good, it was really good. And when he said I was a C, it probably was a B+. But it was just the point was always this, and I never got mad at him. because I respected his eye in the stadium, but it made me articulate to him the why on certain things. It wasn't like I was like trying to refute it. It was like, no, you don't understand, like on this responsibility, this is what it is. And like, but my level of understanding of the game had grown at such a pace to where I could articulate and dispute his reasoning for it. But then he'd be like, wait till your coach grades that play. And then sure enough, it would be something close and it would be like a blank, right? It wasn't like I did something, to earn a plus. I didn't do something to deserve a minus, but it was just a net zero. And he normally would be spot on. But I would always say this, he always did have my back in terms of what I was doing and would try to build me up and like encourage me on the next week to continue to get better because he understood the process. Like this is week 0, folks, right? Like it's week 0. They're going to get better. Let's encourage them to go put the work in to be better, in week 1 than in week 0. And that's ultimately the goal because you're also in the Big 12. What I will say is how about Mountain Union's own, Ohio's own Matt Campbell at Iowa State? And it's just like, and Rocco Beck, not the most stats out there. You got a freaking Haycock over there on the sideline as a D coordinator, Bob. It's like they came ready to play and they were physical. And it's just like that's their brand of ball. The Big 12 is wide open all the time. But sure enough, big-time conference win for Iowa State to start the season in week 0.
Well, the most physical team is going to win this game. I think that could even be shared as we look forward to Texas, and we'll get
100%
here in the next segment. But I wondered if
it has to be. You should write them. It's like, hey, listen, I sympathize with you guys. I just want to know how this started. Were you crapping on the kid
Avery,
and the brother? Yeah, Avery and the brother stepped in, or is the brother stepping on him and you backed Avery? Like I just want to know how it started. Or did it start with the fact that you ate the last piece of the pretzel? Did you or did it maybe it was selfishly maybe the brother double dipped and it was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well, maybe the dad took the brother's beer and said, "You've had too much," and be like, "You don't tell me how much I've had to drink, old man."
100%,
man.
What
myself?
Exactly.
I have to watch this terrible football game of us getting beat. Let me just go buy some beers,
Yeah, exactly. That's the question that you take out of it. Nothing about the play. And to Avery's point, the guy threw for 273 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, rushed for 1. I think he had like 21 yards. Almost had 300 yards of total offense by himself. Yeah. Defense still has to play. They had opportunities to win that game. I think they were up 14-7 at one point. So it's like, maybe Iowa State was at 14. Anyways, they scored 14 in the fourth quarter. It's like, hey, it takes everybody. But again, I look at it as I want to just know how that started. And if it was a double dipping or taking of a beer, even better.
That is.
That's the why. That's the question, Eric. Ask the right question.
Here's the ATRQs. And then ultimately, did they make someone like their mom or a sister or an aunt? Did someone have to sit in between them on the plane going home? That's the real winner. You got to fly back from Dublin, Ireland, Schlegs. This ain't like you're getting in a car and driving back to your apartment. You go all the way back across the pond. We'll get into some more of that too, about the physicality, what it needs to look like next week for Ohio State. We'll start talking about some of the players, things up there. But attention, parents and athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouthguards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouthguards are scientifically tested to absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouthguards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber. They custom 3D print that thing right to your own grill. For more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication. That way you can focus on your game, not the gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Do what Schlegs and I did. Our kids are wearing the Export mouthguards. Go to exportguards.com/Bobby today. Save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. More of the Bobby Carpenter Show coming up next. Welcome back in, Schlags. If you're watching on, please like, subscribe, leave your questions,
The
comments.
YouTube
We
machine.
love all of the comments there in the YouTube
FanDuel.
machine, Schlags. We get a lot of good stuff going on right there for sure. There's a good question we'll get to in our tailgate talk here coming up next. Yeah, the question, who drank the last beer, man? I mean, that may have been it. But I think physicality is going to rule the day. The point spread for this game, Schlags, is it was like 2.5. I think it's come down to 1.5. I'll have to go check and see where it's at. Over-under has been right in the mid-40s, like point total. So not expecting a high-scoring game. And for two teams this talented, I think a lot of people look at it and say, hey, high-scoring game, a lot of offense. You look at Ohio State's offense. You look at Texas' offense. You look at the quarterbacks, highly rated guys. Like, there's a lot of things that tell you that. But first game of the season, you're going to be in a hostile environment. I don't think, and you don't know a ton about what ultimately everybody else is doing. And so as you're trying to figure all this out and what it looks like, where do we go with this? It's going to be tough. So I think it's going to be a physical game, Schlags. Yeah, 2.5. I've seen it move in some other places. That's from FanDuel. We have 47 and change. And we'll see how that ultimately moves throughout the week. But I saw it at 1.5, which is somewhere else. I've seen it a couple of different sites that's moved some. But you look at this Ohio State offense. What do you want to do to help a young quarterback, Schlags? You want to run the football.
Yeah, run the football, man.
Run the football helps. Texas defense is really good up front. I mean, Anthony Hill Jr., their middle linebacker, really good player. Colin Simmons, who's their buck, like their edge guy. We used to call him, and they call him Buck and Jack, like their walk around DN, really good. And so when you're going against an athletic defense, like sometimes, the best way to do it, like you said, like Tennessee, start getting double teams on guys, get pushes at the point of attack, and see if you can create some of those seams to be able to get, whether it's CJ, James Peoples, or maybe even Bo Jackson, because I think we'll see some of him as well, get them vertical.
Yep. I think in a game like this, it was so funny, Bob. I've been watching that Cowboys America's team, the game.
How great is that, by the way?
Bro, it's so amazing because, like, you guys, I'm from there. So when they were really good, I was like I was like my youngest age, right? I was like 6th grade watching the Cowboys. Still remember my dad, when they were really bad, throwing his shirt at the TV, talking about how they can't block and stuff. And then going back, just drinking a White Russian and watching it again and how they progressed. But
so your dad would break down the NFL games?
Oh, my 100%, like in there. And he would be talking to me like I'm sitting there like this. My dad's over there in the lazy boy with he always wore like the V-neck, like Hanes, like undershirt, and his man fur would just be exposed from there, just sipping on a White Russian, watching the Cowboys. I'm on the couch, and we're just talking ball all the time and like this. But it was great to watch those games because like I haven't thought about Daryl Moose Johnson in such a long time. And he caused a fumble in like the NFC Championship game. Anyways, it was great memories. But you look at that fondly, but Emmett brought the best thing up. It was like when Norv Turner came in, their offense was very confusing, et cetera, et cetera. And it was just like, make it simple and let us play really fast. Like let the talent, like just unleash the talent, And that's really what this game is, right? So this is again why I like Ohio State. And I'm saying it's going to be a very good football game. The thing that we talked about the other week about Paul Feinbaum, I disagree with. But when you have players with the athleticism and abilities that our guys have, especially defensively and then offensively on the perimeter, but then you have an offensive line that has a lot of game experience. Like people are talking about how Texas has the talent, measurable on the more talented roster than Ohio State. Completely disagree with that. You can say they're close or comparable. You're not going to say that they have the edge in this. But what do you do when you have really talented perimeter guys or even linebackers in their scheme, Bob? You got to get to the second level. You got to fire off the football. You got to be able to run the football. And when it's not there, they're like, all right, we got to load it up. Then even though you might have a more veteran, even though you lost the Jim Thorpe Award winner last year in the secondary, like, what are you going to do if you try to stop the run versus the perimeter attack of Ohio State? I mean, honestly, and that's where I think in this type of game, that's where Max is going to be able to have a field day. Like this is what I'm interested to watch this play out, how he's utilized, how maybe we do it out of 12 personnel because that keeps their base on the
How about Max Clare, correct?
Yeah, Max Clare. What did I just say, Max?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Everybody knows him. Hey, all you guys out there know his last name. He's really good. But I'm interested to watch how we set up that run because we got to run the football. And what does that do? It allows to take a little bit of pressure off what Julian's saying. And his job is to distribute the football. Just go get us the win. And the easiest way of not getting the win is turning the football over. So again, that's where it goes into in this game when I go back and I talk about the fundamentals and what's going to win. That's where the field position, offense, can you give us 2 first down? Can we flip the field? Can we get in there? Can we score when we're supposed to score? Or do we get held to field goals? We saw that in our week 2 matchup 20 years prior, Bob. It's like you get opportunities to score and you walk away with only 3 points. It puts you behind the 8 ball when you play another really talented team. So you got to capitalize on the moments you got to capitalize, and you got to be able to control the football and not turn it over. But I really like our offensive line. If you compare the 2 offensive lines, I like where we sit as an offensive line more than I like Texas, especially when it comes to running the football because of the experience they had in that playoff run last year.
All right, we got some headlines coming up here, Slags, but before we get to that, I want to tell you about our friends over at Backer. It's Ohio State. They're starting the season. It's going to be beautiful. Maybe even want a little windbreaker. They're windbreakers. They've got some UV protection, but the wind, the rain, the cold gear, Backer's got it all. It's bckr.com, premium gear for premium fans. Unbelievable features and products. It looks good. It feels even better on you. You're going to want to wear it. You're going to want to get it for gifts. They've got some other teams. Don't worry about them as much. They've got all this stuff in there. I love wearing it. It's tremendous. I can't wait. Well, I like wearing it, but I don't want it to get cold. But that's going to be here regardless. Use promo code all caps BOBBY at checkout for free expedited shipping. Again, that's backerbckr.com. Go check them out, Schlags. All right, coming up, we've got our headlines.
Ooh.
Buckeye just got a new deal. I'll tell you who it is and what it is coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show, and it is our headlines brought to you by our friends Schlags over at Lake Spur Marketing. They do a great job for us. Let them do a great job for you. Lake Spur Marketing, their full-service ad agency built on trust, on strategy, on performance, from digital placement to broadcast buys to the creative side. They've got everything from there covered. Lake Spur Marketing, there isn't a set and forget it strategy. They customize and will continually tweak their programs to figure out the best tactics to fit your needs. Leave the marketing to them so you can do what you do best, which is run your business. Lake Spur Marketing, the proof is in their partners. Visit them at lakespurmarketing.com today. Schlags, Buckeye, Terry McLaurin.
Ooh.
He's been holding in one of the best receivers in the NFL for the last couple of years. He's 29 years old. So he's sitting there staring at 30. He's been wanting to get a new deal for quite some time. 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons, career high 13 touchdowns last year. You want to make sure you have this guy there with your rookie quarterback, Jalen Daniels. You need him out there to be able to make sure that you're going to be in a good spot. So Jaden has someone to throw to, and he has a security blanket. 3-year deal, Schlags, $96 million, another $30 million at signing. Great to see that, them taking care of a guy who has really been the standard for them in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, he's done all of that production, Bob, with just absolutely dismal quarterback play until last year. And that's what matters. I mean, he is a all-out effort guy. I still remember back in the day when I used to call him Conehead. You remember that, Bob?
He does have kind of a conehead, but I love
does. But I mean, I absolutely loved every minute I spent with this guy because he is a true pro. And that's where it's like in these deals in the NFL, guys, And heck, man, even in the college, it's like we never, Bob, talk about people and their money because the league is getting theirs. It's how does this work out best to where he feels that he's valued? And now he does. And so he's going to be a part. It's up to him to make sure that his body is prepared because we're going into week 1 and he's going to be expected to play a lot of snaps. But he is somebody that has been there, has been consistent, and is a pro. And his young quarterback, again, needs him on this team. And they got it done. Good for him, man.
Yeah, really excited to see that for Terry because the thing is, like, deserving ain't got nothing to do with it.
Nope.
Our guy. Is that from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? I think so.
Yes.
Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
But he deserves that. He's worked really hard. He's been a great leader, great teammate, and been highly, highly productive. And so when you pay the right guys, everything else always takes care of itself. All right, that's it for our headlines. One big one today. We've got some tailgate talk with some questions here coming up. I got one really good question, Schlegs, that came in early. We got some other ones, but one that was right at the beginning. I want to make sure we get a chance to get to it. We had our tailgate talk coming up next. All right, we got our headlines brought to you by our friends over at Real Truck. Schlegs is obviously getting hot, taking off.
I did. I put a hoodie on today, but I got people back there. Hey, so is this a Scarlet game? Is this a Scarlet game? We got to wear Scarlet because I was going to wear the gas station ready T-shirt.
Ooh, I like the fact it's gas station ready. I mean, you could argue the Johnsons were gas station ready, parking lot ready, Schlegs.
Parking lot ready, tailgate ready, post-game celebration that turned sideways ready.
Yeah.
Maybe they're fighting over cornhole.
Maybe it is.
That could have been it. That was a leaner. No, market one, Walter.
Do you think like he may have nudged a bag, like nudged it so one of the bags fell in the hole or something like that?
Miscounted it. And maybe they were fighting over who gets to sit in like business class on the flight back. And the dad was like, no, market one. It's like, no. He's like, I'm paying for the seat. Pay for this, old man. Anyways, go, Bob.
Hey, by the way, it was Clint Eastwood in The Unforgiven, Schlegs, not The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, you're right. Absolutely.
That's my dad's favorite. Favorite.
Oh my gosh, the guy from Lethal Weapon. How am I blanking on his name?
Wesley Snipes?
Glover.
Danny.
No.
That's Danny Glover.
Yeah, Danny Glover was in there. Remember, he was a sharp. He couldn't do it, and he was taking all that special lovemaking stuff from the girls for the payments and stuff. And yeah, that's right, Clint Eastwood. I can remember the scene.
Okay. This comes from Brad Flemings. It's all the way at the top, Pat. One of the second comment of the show. So would you rather the Buckeyes be a number 1 seed and get a first round bye or get the home playoff game? No expert, but last year proved that you want the home playoff game, OH. I think you want to be as good as you can. The home playoff game was great and it got the momentum. And last year people look at what the home playoff teams did as opposed to not, but they had a jacked up seeding process. So I think this year I would love to have home games. Believe me, it's the one time you can have a night game at Ohio State, Schlegs, and that's tremendous. So I'm all for that. But dude, you want to try to win as many games as you possibly can. Like, don't worry about anything else. Like that's what you want to do. So I'm not going to sit here and say I lose. Plus also Brad said, good news today. They got their JV game moved to 8 a.m. so they can get over the game on Saturday, Buckeyes.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at last year, guys, the byes, Oregon down, Arizona State down, Boise down, Georgia down.
Georgia lost their quarterback, and you could argue that Arizona State and Boise, like, were they really the best teams there?
And Arizona State played Texas very, very hard. I mean, that comes down to even a personal foul that didn't get called. But I go back, and this is where I don't like it. It should literally be matched up. All these should be on Saturday. I think you and I were talking about this the other day, Bob, but like college football owns Saturday. It's like, boom, season's over. We didn't have a conference championship game. We split the conference that year with Penn State. So you're co-Big Ten champions. Now you go into the deal. That starts the next week. then the bye is advantageous because you just got done playing 12 and it gives you an extra week to get healthy. But I would like that next playoff game, the semifinal. I would love that to be a home game. But if you go to 16, what does that look like? But I think that layoff for them was just a little bit longer because it was like an additional 2 weeks. So those people, so it was a 3-week layoff and then they started. And that's just a little bit too long. I think like how they do in the league where it's like, if you're one, you get that one bye, but then you get a home field game. That's a competitive advantage and why everybody wants to be the first in their conference because they get that one. That's the point.
And I'm sure they'll probably end up doing away with the buys when they expand. So, and maybe do 2 rounds of home field as well. This one comes in your slates. Eddie, would you guys rather play at noon or at 7:30 when we played 20 years ago? We'll get into that more as the week goes.
Oh, I already got that answer.
Okay. I'm guessing it's 7:30.
All day.
Listen, you want to put OU at noon and Grambling at noon after that, that's great. I don't need like 5 night games a year. Just put the appropriate ones. Probably slates like 1, maybe a second night game a year. Sprinkle in 2 or 3 3:30s and 2 or 3 noons and like poof, David Copperfield. We got the schedule. Problem is slates it's been inverted to where we wait all day now to watch Ohio University play, which I love the Bobcats. They're going to be really good in the MAC, but I don't know if we need to wait all day ultimately for that one. That is it for our tailgate talk. Coming up, Schlegs is going to wrap up the show with his parting thoughts.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, Schlegs. Let's hear it.
Yeah. No, I told him to put it on because it's great. We haven't got to it, but this is you actually do this. But I saw the same thing, and it's like, hey, we like to give you guys some side nuggets. If you weaken the standard to accommodate incompetence, you weaken the culture, and that's for business. That's for strength conditioning. That's for football play. And it's also what is the standard. I'm not saying you coach everybody the same, but you coach everybody hard. You communicate. Right? But what is the standard of excellence within your organization, within your family unit, within your team? And the thing I love about this is like the standard is the standard at Ohio State, you know, and they're not going to accommodate to incompetence. Like this is what it is, or you won't see the field. You have to move on. But it was just a great snapshot of, you know, I think something that we can all carry regardless of where we go, right? We're talking about the Buckeyes. This can impact everybody else out there. But yeah, if you weaken the standard, you weaken the culture, can't do it.
Don't want to see that. Not good at all. Stay with us tomorrow. We'll catch up with you here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.